Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me for Chronicles in Collecting, where we're going to open the Soul of Chogokin GX96 Getter Robo Go from the show of the same name. This figure came out in September of 2021 and retailed for about 25,300 yen and was sold for $250 in the US. We're also going to take a look at the Soul of Chogokin GX96XG Armriser, which is an option part set for the Getter Robo Go. This figure came out in February 2022 and was a premium Bandai exclusive, retailing for 12,000 yen and was sold in the US for $150. So we got a pretty interesting one today. So this is the Getter Robo Go from, I believe, the show of the same name, Soul of Chogokin. What's kind of interesting about this one is that typically the Getter Robo figures can't transform into all three modes, or the regular Getter Robo can't transform at all. I think the Emperor can transform, but just into one form. But this one actually has all three forms. You can see them on the box, which is pretty cool. So admittedly, I'm probably not going to do all three. But it is a very impressive feat of engineering, if I do say so myself. So let's see what we got here. So I'd say my initial thoughts is that this is much smaller than it really seemed like it was on the box. Not necessarily a bad thing, but a thing. Try to get this here so you can at least kind of see it. Right. You got the next part here. Yeah, this is nice. Not, again, in addition to being smaller, it's a little lighter. Doesn't feel like there's a ton of metal in here. There might be, but there's not like a lot of heft to it. And then here's this. Still, even these don't feel like super hefty. Maybe heftier than the other pieces, but yeah, surprisingly plasticky for a Soul of Chogokin, if I do say so myself. Let's see what else we got here. I know that in one of the forms, these are like the shoulder kind of blades, which I think are really cool. This is, I've not seen Getter Robo. I've seen a bunch of the Getter shows. I've been kind of trying to work my way through them, but this is a very interesting weapon for this show. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, not a ton to this. A little underwhelming. I'm actually opening it up this week because I got the expansion option parts or whatever. So I'll do this video and then I'll do that one and put it all together. The Getter Tomahawk. This is cool. This like ball and chain thing. Hope I can find a use for that. Yeah, these are just these little pieces. I don't think you need to look at those in too much detail. Some sort of missiles or something. Head, presumably for the combined version. And these are some other little things which don't seem that important. All right, let's put that to the side here. Oops. We'll switch this out. And yeah, not really a whole lot more. Here are some hands. So you kind of got hands of all different sizes for the different, for the different forms. Nothing super exciting there. And then, as is fairly typical of the Soul of Chogokins, you got the stand with a whole bunch of stand parts. It says, has the name of the got the name of the figure and Soul of Chogokin, and then just some other stand parts. So yeah, nothing super exciting here. I'm going to be back in a few minutes. I'll do put it together, and I'll have some final thoughts. So this is the G Armriser, I'm probably mispronouncing that, which is the add-on accessory for the Getter Robo Go, which I really liked, opened up earlier in the week. I thought transforming it was fun, and I thought the final figure was cool, so I'm looking forward to this, which is kind of like, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that I could do, but the main thing is that it's like an armor set for the Getter Robo Go. And I think this is kind of part of a bigger trend that we're seeing with the Soul Chogokin, where pretty much every figure has an accessory or a related part. The GX100, Guy King has the add-on part. This one has it. The Tetsujin 18 or whatever has the Tetsujin 17. The Mazen Kaiser 50th anniversary is going to have the Mazen Kaiser SKL. So we just kind of been seeing that a lot lately, and I think it's fine. Always good to see more Soul of Chogokin stuff. So take a look at this. Detailing's really nice. Very plasticky. Definitely don't feel any metal in the main piece. And this wasn't, a cheap set. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's much metal in this at all, to be completely honest. We'll continue to go through the piece here. So obviously there's two of those. I don't know what that is. This looks like some shielding for the foot, some shielding for the ankle. Looks like this is probably the back of the shin. This would be the front of the shin. And then you have a new kind of, let's see if I can get this out of here. A new Getter Tomahawk sword, which is really nice. And this way you don't actually have to use your actual Getter Tomahawk that came with the main set. But yeah, so, and then there's like some adapter pieces and stuff like that. I don't think we need to go through every one of them here. And actually take a look at this. I think this is the base, because it kind of has like two forms. One is kind of like a ship form, and then the other is the armor form. I presume it does some sort of transformation in the show or something like that. Anyway, I'm going to get this armor set on the Getter Robo Go, and I'll be back in a few minutes with some final thoughts. All right, and we are back. So we have the Getter Robo with the option parts set on there, mostly because I put it on before realizing I did not film the other one. But I think you get the gist of it kind of all together. Let's get it on the rotating stand, and I'll kind of give a combined final thoughts. So I really like the base figure. It's not nearly as heavy or has much metal as a typical Soul of Chogokin, which is definitely a downer, but I think that it looks nice on the shelf, and I think that the outside looks good. I thought that the transformation actually wasn't too bad for a Soul of Chogokin. There was some really weird stuff with the legs. I wish that there's kind of just like one little note in the book where it's just like, do this with the leg, but like really you have to do all sorts of crazy like quadruple jointed moves and twists and this, that, and the other thing that I found a little challenging. I kind of wish that had been explained a little bit better. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good, and I think it's a pretty solid figure, to go with the other Robo Soul Chogokin, various Getter Robo Soul Chogokin stuff. For the G Armriser, however you pronounce that, option set pack, I think it looks really good with everything on it. I thought putting it on also wasn't too bad. There was a few parts that didn't go as well, and I kind of wish there was something to hold. Let me just adjust this right there to kind of hold this in place, because I feel like it's a little too heavy to just kind of have standing there. This is some other stage adapter that just happened to be in the box that I was like, yeah, it seems about right, so I'll just have it there so it's not just kind of laying there. But yeah, I do like that the Armriser kind of uses all of the parts. You got these cool guns, you got the spike, you got the shield, and you're using both tomahawks. Another minor detail is that the tomahawk with the sword is like a light gray, but the regular tomahawk is black, so they actually colors don't match. I think you'd have to be looking fairly closely to notice that, but just a little minor thing that I'm a little surprised. Maybe it's accurate to the show, which, like I said, I have not watched yet. My main issue with the G Armriser option part set or weapon set, however you'd like to refer to it as, it just looks kind of cheap. I did complain that the main figure didn't have a lot of die cast on it, but it still does have that premium look, where I think it kind of at least would look at home next to the other Soul Chogokins. Maybe not. Maybe it looks a little cheaper than some of the nicer ones, but I still think it looks pretty good. Whereas the Armriser parts, especially the legs, look very plasticky. I mean, they are plastic. They just look very cheap. So, you have this whatever $150 figure and then another $150 option part set on top of it, and half of it looks really cheap. And I think, the final figure is probably going to cost somewhere around $300, probably more if you pay tax and shipping, depending on where you buy it from. And I don't know, it just looks a little cheap to me. I think that the legs in particular look the cheapest to me. So maybe if you were interested, you could, just take those off. I think the rest doesn't look as cheap. Anyway, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate a like or subscribe, and if you didn't, tell me about it in the comments. If there's something else you want to see with either this figure or some other figures, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. I'm going to be doing figure reviews on Wednesday, probably the occasional one on Friday, and I believe the Gundam reviews are going to be going up on Sunday. Thanks so much and keep collecting.